It's time for Net at Night with Amber MacArthur and Leo Laporte, episode 156. Coming up, we're going to rainbow eyes your Twitter, find out about a new way to invite people, and I'll rail on and on about Facebook. But it'll be fun. Amber MacArthur is next with Net at Night.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Audio bandwidth for Net at Night is provided by AOL Music and Spinner.com, where you can get free MP3s, exclusive interviews, and more. Video bandwidth for Net at Night is provided by Cashfly at CACHEFLY.com.
It's time for Net at Night with Amber MacArthur and Leo Laporte, episode 157, recorded June 29th, 2010, in the Backseat with Amber. Net at Night is brought to you by GoToMeeting. Improve your conference calls and keep everyone on the same page when you share your screen with GoToMeeting. For your free 30-day trial, visit GoToMeeting.com/night. It's time for Net at Night from Petaluma, California. I am Leo Laporte.
And I'm Amber MacArthur from the Toronto International Airport on the tarmac in Toronto.
From a runway, everybody.
I know. I am on a runway in a car. It's very strange, Leo.
Why, may I ask, are you there?
I know. It's kind of a funny story. Well, Virgin America has just started flying to Canada. And so now they will have flights from LA and San Francisco, which is great, to Toronto. And Richard Branson is flying in on the inaugural flight. And it's a little bit late. So I had an opportunity to interview him, but it's getting pushed back and pushed back once he arrives. So I'm going to be able to have some time with him on the plane. And so I've asked them to put me at the end of the interview. So they're just about to land. And hopefully by the time we wrap up, he'll be ready to chat with me. And so I'm hooked up here in the car, Leo. Fortunately, we have an inverter, so I can plug the laptop in.
Wow.
I'm using an internet stick from Virgin Mobile that they lent me because they knew I couldn't really leave this location. And it's all kind of working out, but apologies that it's such a strange venue.
Well, you know what's kind of neat is that it's all working, and you're on 3G.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a plug for Virgin America. I'm pretty impressed, frankly.
You know what? I'm really impressed. And to be quite honest with you, my plan before was actually to go into the terminal and do it on Wi-Fi. But I've been there before, and I actually think this internet stick, the speeds are better. I think it's I think it would be even better than being inside the terminal right now.
Yeah,
So not too bad.
It's sounding fine. I hear a little buzz from the inverter, but that's about it. It sounds pretty good. Well, let's do a show. Wow. Amber, what kind of car is it that you're the back seat there of? Is that your limousine?
You should recognize this car. I just got a new car in December, and I don't know if you recognize it.
Is
but
this
it's
your RAV4? Oh, it's a Highlander.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we drive. Wow,
yeah.
That's very cool. What my wife drives, of course, I drive the Mustang.
I know.
But if you were in a Mustang, I don't think you'd be in the back seat right now. I don't think.
And my next car is going to be a Ford. I'm hooked on the sync technology. Trust me.
The sync is so awesome.
Amazing.
So, fantastic. Well, I'm very excited. And we have a good guest today. We're going to talk to Tony Schwartz. Tell me who Tony is.
Yeah, Tony has written a bunch of books. The most interesting one is his recent book called The Way We're Working Isn't Working. So it's talking about how people are just spending too much time in the workplace. They're not breaking for lunch. And on that topic, he actually started this sort of social network called the energyproject.com, which is asking people to take back their lunch breaks. So I think it should be an interesting conversation that a lot of us can relate to when we're trying to figure out a different way to work that works with our schedules. And thanks to the internet, a lot of us can make things happen that couldn't have happened, say, 10 years ago.
I take a lunch before Net at Night every day. I had a whole 5 minutes today.
A whole 5 minutes? Yeah, you're kind of like me.
And during my lunch, I was getting briefed by Ken Shepardson, our Director of Engineering, and Lisa Kensell, our CEO. So it was a very relaxing, enjoyable lunch. You know what else we did during lunch? See if you recognize this sound.
Leo, you're awesome.
You recognize that?
Famous horn from the World Cup, I'm thinking.
It is a vuvuzela and it is from the World Cup. And I have two in studio now. This latest one came from Don Edwards of Aldara Park in South Africa. He says he's been supporting the South African team, Bafana Bafana, as well as the U.S. team, who've been playing well and like true sportsmen and are now eliminated.
Wow.
But this is great.
Gift,
This has a South African colors, and it's a little shoulder holster. So I plan to bring this to the kids' games. We'll be playing this at the lacrosse games when Henry plays from now on. I'll become.
He's gonna love that.
Oh,
Leo.
Henry, just he loves it so much that I'm there taking pictures. Now I can play the. No, he's so mortified already. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know.
That's too bad.
So speaking of social networks and people wasting time during lunch, looks like Google's got a new way to do this. Kevin Rose was on the show on Sunday, and he told us this story, too. Tell me about it.
I know. Well, I've heard it all over the place that Google is launching a social network which will be in competition with Facebook, and it will possibly be called Google Me, and there will be no sound effects. And this first came out from a tweet that I saw as well from Kevin that he put online and spread a lot of news on TechCrunch and all over the place.
And by the way, Kevin told me he was told he had to take it down, which to me tells me it was true.
Huh.
I think the words, I'll have to go back and listen to the tape. If you listen to TWiT, the most recent TWiT, we talk about it, and he said, yeah, I had to take it down. And that sounds to me not like it was false, but that it was true.
Yeah, especially I think with Kevin, because sometimes he gives you little hints without saying them, which is always good. But, hey, you remember when Buzz was coming out, there was lots of people talking about it. And unfortunately, I mean, for some people, a lot of people were disappointed. And I'm always excited with new things from Google. It makes sense to go into this space, but they're going to have to do something that kind of blows people away, I think.
Well, I'm ready for it because I think one of the reasons it's hard to leave Facebook right now, and as you know, I'm a Facebook dissenter. I left Facebook. But one of the things that makes it hard to leave is that there's nowhere to go. And if Google does Google Me, and you got to figure they're thinking about it, right?
They should be thinking about it. I mean, think about how many people they have already using so many of their services. I mean, gradually, even though it's not as though, they've been marketing directly to me, but just because they offer some great tools online, I mean, I've switched my entire life over to Google.
Right. I'm
Gmail,
excited.
calendar, everything.
The rumor is perhaps that they'll base it on Google profiles, and I'm there already. I have a complete. If you go to Leo, actually, all you have to do is go to twit.tv/Leo, because we forward that over to my Google profile, and I put that on my business card. It's to me that's what that says everything you want to know about me, and I created it and I edit it and I control it. We just this morning, Facebook, whether by accident or not, deleted a anti-BP Facebook page that had 700,000 plus fans on it.
Oh my goodness, I've been watching that page.
They deleted it. Now they brought it back half an hour later, but you've got to wonder what was going on. Was it an accident?
Yeah, no kidding.
It was the Boycott BP page. It was hugely popular. It disappeared, and a lot of the people who set it up, immediately made a big stink about it, saying, they're trying to silence us, they're trying to shut us up. They set up the guy who set it up, who is Desmond Perkins, who is I guess a citizen journalist, set up another Facebook page which got to 10,000 users instantly. I should say not half an hour, but 9 hours later, Facebook reinstated the page, probably due to protests. But you've got to ask, what happened? Why did they delete this? This is not the first time I've heard of Facebook deleting something or closing a page and then, due to pressure, bringing it back.
That sounds very interesting. Yeah, I didn't hear about them actually deleting the page, but I've been following that particular group, and it really is an amazing conversation that's happening among all of the people. There are hundreds of thousands about BP and what's going on. So
I have a couple of videos for you. First, we talked to Ben Mesrich, remember, a couple of months ago about his book, The Accidental Billionaires. And there's a movie. Kevin Spacey is in the movie. Justin Timberlake, Aaron Sorkin, the guy who wrote The West Wing and one of the best screenwriters in the world. The American president has written the screenplay. The first trailer's up. You want to see it?
Oh, I do, and I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, so it's a nice surprise.
Here we go. Surprise, surprise, surprise. This is called, what is it called? The Social Network?
We have an idea that we'd like to talk to you about.
It's going to be online any second. This is going to be news.
Who should we send it to first?
Just a couple of people. The question is, who are they going to send it to?
The site got 2,200 hits within 2 hours.
1,000. 22,000.
They don't want you, they want your idea.
We don't know what it can be. We don't know what it will be. We know that it is cool.
Let's sue him in federal court.
If you guys were the inventors of Facebook, you'd have invented Facebook.
Is there anything that you need to tell me?
$1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool? $1 billion.
I can't wait to stand over your shoulder and what you write as a check.
Mark!
Says you don't get to 500 million friends
$600 million.
without making a few enemies.
No.
I cannot wait to see this movie.
Oh, I cannot wait to see it either.
The Social Network, it's called, and I think it comes out for Christmas. October 2010. 500millionfriends.com if you want to see the trailer.
We're going to have to get Ben or someone back on the show.
We will. And if we can, I'll get Aaron. And who's the star of that? That looks very familiar. Who is that guy?
I don't know who that is.
Man. Chat room?
Chat room, help us. Help us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do something big around that release. Maybe we can... I'm sure we'll think of something.
Oh, wait, we should be at opening day. I mean, I want to be out there in the... And now, we talked about Google Me. There's Google Me the movie.
Really? I haven't seen that either. See, Leo, did you find this week when I was looking for stories, there were so many stories. And some weeks, it's not that.
It's one of those weeks. There's a lot to talk about.
There's a ton of stuff going on.
Google Me the movie. Here's the trailer for that movie.
My name is Jim Colleen. It all started when I Googled my name.
I found about 24 Jim Colleen.
This is actually a real movie.
What if I go to meet them and convince them to be in?
When I first heard about your project, my first...
So this guy went out to meet everybody with his name.
They were spread all over the world.
I love it.
Like Jim said, it's really going to test his ability to confront another person.
Jim, in the flat. Nice to meet you. You must be Jim Colleen.
Isn't that cool?
That is awesome.
Do you remember this when this came out?
The results. Welcome.
I don't remember this at all, but I think I've heard...
I wonder if Jim Colleen's going to sue Google over Google Me.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or is Google Me such a generic term
That you can't do anything
that
about it.
you can't do anything about it?
You know what? I don't know if we talked about this. I might have talked to Sarah about it when we co-hosted together. But you know what I noticed more and more people are doing is they're buying Google ads to try to get jobs. For instance, there was this one kid in New York who found a famous advertising agency where he wanted to work. And he found the person who was in charge of hiring. And he actually knew that the person was ego surfing and looking for their own name on Google. And so he bought an ad against that name to say, you should hire me. That linked right to his online profile. And the guy found it. And
it worked? And he hired him?
It worked. Yeah, he hired him. And another funny story, which is along the same line, when I say have a
hold on. I know you just knocked something and the signal is bad. Amber, hold on. Just wait. It's going to settle down a little bit. Here, hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
And Amber is in the back seat of a car on the tarmac at Toronto Airport, waiting for Richard Branson to arrive, and she's using a Virgin Atlantic, or is it Virgin America? Virgin Atlantic.
Yeah, Virgin Mobile.
Virgin Mobile 3G card.
Is it better?
Yeah, it's better. You know what? I'm excited. I wish Virgin America had been flying to Toronto when I had to go on Air Canada. If I could go Virgin, I'd probably still be doing the show in Toronto.
Leo, I know. Just having Wi-Fi on the plane is enough to get me on there. Trust me.
Virgin America. I put my mom on Virgin America to go home, and she said, "Oh, I might come visit you again."
Oh, I know. I'm so excited. I have never been on their plane, so in about 45 minutes, I'll be able to take a tour. But sorry, what I was saying is that when I sent you this email with the notes about what we're talking about, Kevin Rose's name was in the email. And then I looked in Gmail, and you know how they serve up ads at the top related to what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Someone said, hire me on revision 3, and it was an ad doing the same sort of thing. Kid wants a job. Yeah, it's very smart.
Well, don't do it to don't buy my name, because I never ego search myself.
You never?
Very rarely.
Really?
Yeah. And anyway, I don't have a job. So Adam D'Angelo, who was the CTO at Facebook for a long time, he's now at Quora. By the way, we should do something on Quora. I joined Quora. It's a very interesting service where you answer questions. It's kind of like FormSpring. I know you've done FormSpring.
Yeah, we had them on with Sarah.
Quora is similar, but the idea is it's kind of like a wiki. It becomes a collection of questions and answers by experts. So it kind of has a similar idea, but you follow people just like on Twitter. And Rob Glazier asks, is Google Me a false rumor, misleading evolutionary product update, or is it really new and a new social network from Google? And here's Adam D'Angelo's Actually, I don't know if Rob asked the question. I found out about it because Rob was following it, and I follow Rob. He says, here's what Adam says, former CTO of Facebook. This is not a rumor. This is a real project. There are a large number of people working on it. I'm completely confident about this. Point 2, they realized that buzz wasn't enough. They needed to build out a full first-class social network. They're modeling it off of Facebook. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'd copy Facebook outright, wouldn't you?
Pretty much, and I would be able to learn from some of their mistakes.
Exactly.
As well.
Unlike previous attempts before Buzz, at least, this is a high-priority project within Google, says D'Angelo. They had assumed that Facebook's growth would slow as it grew, and that Facebook wouldn't be able to have too much leverage over Google, and then it just didn't stop. And now Google is really scared. I'm going to vote that one up. And Kevin said, he really believed it was true. He did not. He said, I had to take it down, but I still believe it.
That it's going to happen.
Yeah. So no, I'm a full believer, and not only am I a believer, I'm a hoper. I'm a hoper and a wisher and a water.
I hope it happens. I'll be really interested to see what they offer up.
You're watching Net at Night. Amber MacArthur, Leo Laporte. We've got a great guest coming up in just a little bit. We're going to talk to Tony Schwartz about why the way we're working isn't working. A couple more stories, though, before we do this. TechCrunch TV launched today. I was with Mike Arrington at Food Camp.
Okay.
At O'Reilly's Friends of O'Reilly camp. It was really fun. I walked up to Mike, and I think he was afraid I was going to try to hit him.
I can imagine why.
In fact, there was a guy next to him who said, you guys hate each other, don't you? And I said, no, I love Mike. What are you talking about? We get along great. I lost my temper at Mike in a very famous incident, which we won't go back over, but I think Mike's the greatest. I think TechCrunch is, as you do too, we read this blog religiously, don't we?
Oh my gosh. Like almost half my stories today are from TechCrunch.
Yeah. I have to say that TechCrunch, if there's anything wrong with TechCrunch, it's that it is always first off the mark with the story. Sometimes they have to, they launch the story out and then have to modify it over time as more solid facts come out. But I don't mind that. They're very clear about that. They say it's a rumor when it's a rumor, and they update it. So I'm okay with that. I just when I read something in TechCrunch, I don't always run with the story until I hear it from other people.
You have more information.
Yeah. So what is TechCrunch TV? And should I be scared?
Be scared, Leo. I watched a little bit of one of their shows, and as far as I know, they're only doing about 40 minutes a day of live broadcasting. At least that's what I've dug up on the web. Mike Arrington, Sarah Lacey, a bunch of different people will be talent on TechCrunch TV, and basically just doing TechCrunch news. So tech news that happens in video format. The video I watched was, it was okay. It was kind of so-so as far as the quality of the production, and I think they're going to need some time to be able to figure out exactly what they're doing and their audience and all those things. But I think it's interesting. But I mean, I think TWiT is very different. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, no, I watched it and I thought this is great. They're basically what they're trying to do is just like real TV. So they're in a kind of television-looking studio, but with real geeks, and they're getting great people. They have Nick Carr.
Oh yeah.
Andrew Keene has a story. I mean, I think the world of MG Siegler. Of course, but I was thinking to myself, if I were Mike, what would I have done differently? And I realized what he should have done, and I doubt he would want to do it. Here's a little bit of TechCrunch TV just so you can see what it looks like.
And this is
Evelyn
Paul
Ripley.
Carr,
they hired, I think, from
creative
CNBC.
director. Now, Paul, question I think the viewers want to know, and
The sound's not great. The studio's kind of...
It's kind of 1980s. I hate to say it, but
what is TechCrunch TV? Why am I here?
Yeah, and that's why we do this funky studio. I don't want it to look like television. But what I thought Mike should do, do you remember? Oh, you would never have seen this guy. He wasn't in Canada, but in the States, there used to be a crazy preacher, what's his name? Gene Scott.
Okay.
And he was this kid. Big white hair. Sometimes he'd have a beard, sometimes not. And he would sit in this big armchair, and he would just sit and slump in this armchair. Sometimes he'd wear a cowboy hat, sometimes not. A lot of times he had like 5 or 6 pairs of glasses on. I don't know why. He had different reading glasses on, and he put his glasses on. He'd have like regular glasses and his reading glasses. He looked like a lunatic. And he would be on TV like 24 hours a day begging for money. Sometimes he would just say, I'm not going to talk until we get $100,000. And he would just shut up and sit and read in his chair. And the money would come in. He was a very successful television preacher, Gene Scott. And I just thought, if I were the creative director at TechCrunch, I would put Mike Arrington in a chair and just have him go off. Just have him talk for an hour.
Right.
And it would be you couldn't tune away from it.
Yeah, like I would watch the Mike Arrington channel much more than TechCrunch TV.
Well, that's it. No, by the way, I'm thrilled that they're doing it. I wish them luck. I hope they do well, because one of the problems of doing what we're doing is you don't want to be the only guy doing it.
No.
And while there's Revision 3 and there's Jason and there's others doing similar stuff, nobody's doing what we're doing, which is streaming live TV almost all the time.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. They're only doing a little bit of live.
I want more people to do that so that we don't look like we're nuts.
Yeah. They probably will do more. I mean, I'm sure as breaking news happens in the tech world, they'll start to do more live spots, and but they'll never be able to do. I mean, I think TWiT is very different. I think it will have TechCrunch will have its own place, but I do think you're right. I mean, it is much more like television, traditional television with the studio. Like, I don't know if they'd have me calling in my car, but I know you're cool with that.
Oh, not only cool, and I love it.
So that makes it more, I don't know, it's more family-like on TWiT, which is part of it that I love as well.
So YouTube has made a big announcement.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. So, there are all these copyright issues on YouTube. If you want to create a home movie and then all of a sudden you use maybe your favorite Lady Gaga song as the soundtrack, then you'll get in trouble. YouTube might take the video down. Well, there's an opportunity now to get songs, and you can pay to really license songs for personal use from Rumblefish, who came out with an online store called Friendly Music. I'd actually love to have them on Net at Night to talk a little bit more about this. But the idea being that you can buy a track for $1.99, and you can use that track in any of your personal videos that you create and upload to YouTube. And so you don't have to worry about copyright issues because it's taken care of in that amount that you're giving them to the online store. So an interesting idea, and I think it's a good move for people if they really want to get more interesting audio content to go with their pictures.
So is Rumblefish related to YouTube, Friendly Music?
Yeah, I think that Rumblefish actually started Friendly Music, as far as I understand. And I know Rumblefish from somewhere. Does that sound familiar to you?
It does. It sounds familiar to me, too.
But I just can't really place it. But I'm familiar with the name, and this is just a spin-off, I think, from the company. But my goal over the next week is try to track them down and get them to come on the show and talk about Friendly Music. Because to me, it seems like this is just the beginning. I mean, the idea that they would license music in this way seems so smart. And, finally, instead of cutting people off and taking down their videos and having this angry confrontation, I mean, why not open it up and have an opportunity for both the musicians to make money, for the content creators to be happy? It's a perfect marriage.
Well, remember that great video? This is what opened my eyes to it. JK Wedding Dance, where they started with a traditional wedding processional, and all of a sudden a Chris Brown song comes on and they're dancing, and and millions of people saw it. And now YouTube does, I think, give content holders the right to pull it down. You can ask a DMCA takedown, to put an ad in it, or to put a link to buy the song in it. And the people who published Chris Brown's music opted for the latter. And Chris Brown's old song went right back up to the top of the charts. They sold a lot of copies. They made a lot of money. Oh, everybody won. It was a great thing for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think there's many opportunities, and I hope that more sites like Friendly Music continue to pop up in the future to figure out a way to make it work for everybody. I mean, I'm constantly reading the Lefsetz letter by Bob Lefsetz, who is a music critic, and talks a lot about how some of the big labels aren't really taking advantage of the online movement and people on the web. And I think that there's just some really innovative ideas, and this is one of them.
Of course, we should mention that and I forgot to mention it in TWiT, and I'm like, the big story, the big story of last week. Well, I was, we're all consumed with the iPhone launch and the Droid X launch, which was a big story the day before. The truth is, the big story of the week really was Viacom losing its $1 billion lawsuit against Google. Viacom said Google's, basically a publisher, and by being a publisher and putting our videos up and putting ads on them, they're stealing from us, and we want $1 billion. This, by the way, after Viacom, which owns Comedy Central, Nick at Night, MTV, got huge promotion from these very clips. So it's kind of like they want it both ways. They want all the promotion for Comedy Central and for The Daily Show by Jon Stewart, but at the same time, then we want $1 billion for rights violations. The judge said no. And the reason it's a big story, bigger than just this victory for YouTube, And by the way, Amber, I know you're friends with Steve Chen. We interviewed him when Google.
Well, thanks to our show, Leo.
Yeah, when YouTube was just starting out before it was sold to Google. And it turns out in the depositions and the discovery process of this trial that we found out that one of the reasons Google bought YouTube is because they believed that YouTube was protected by the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act safe harbor provision that says as long as you offer a reasonable takedown process, you are not liable for copyright infringement. You're not a publisher, you're a common carrier. You're like the phone. See, the phone company's not liable. If I sing a song to you over the phone, a Chris Brown song, they can't be sued for copyright infringement. And so this was the question: is Google a publisher like a magazine or a TV channel where they're benefiting from this without paying rights, or are they more a carrier? And the judge said no, they're a carrier. They do the DMCA takedown properly. They're off the hook. Now I know there's going to be a big appeal. We haven't heard the last of this, but I think a very, very important victory, not just for YouTube, but for everybody. Because you know what? If they had lost, I would have to look at what we do with the chat room, with forums, with commenting.
Everything.
We'd be liable for anything because we're in the same boat.
That would be a terrible world to live in, too. I can't even imagine.
No, we're in the same boat. It would not just kill YouTube, because there's no way with 24 hours of video uploaded every minute that they can vet it all. But it would not only kill them, but it would kill me, because what if people post copyright material in my comments on my blog or in the chat room? Am I now liable?
And then you're liable.
If I am, I'm going to shut those down.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's great news then. Like you said, there probably will be an appeal, but for now, it's a move in the right direction.
Yeah. I can't imagine it not passing. By the way, another very big Supreme Court decision in the U.S. I know it doesn't affect you, but they struck down a very restrictive, very limiting financial law called Sarbanes-Oxley that people like John C. Dvorak said was so onerous, so difficult for a public company to report and to pay for all of it that people just don't go public. And if it's true, there haven't been very many IPOs ever since Sarbanes-Oxley was passed. So this might be good for the tech industry. You might start seeing some IPOs, companies willing to go public.
Well, Leo, even though you say it won't affect us here in Canada, but the reality is, I think most of the things that happen in the U.S., there's kind of that ripple effect in Canada and other parts of the world. So I think that's just one example.
One more link, then we're going to get to our guest, Tony Schwartz of theenergyproject.com. This is one I sent to you.
Yes, this is Snoop on Me, Leo. So I'm going to throw it back to you to tell me a little bit about it. I checked it out, and it looked interesting, but I couldn't figure out what exactly you use it for.
Well, okay, you know, Twitter. The idea of Twitter is you post little snippets every once in a while about what you're up to, right?
Yep.
Snoop on Me uses a little small open source utility called Little Snoop for Mac or Windows. You put it on your computer, and then it regularly takes and posts screenshots to the web. So we're right now watching Snoop on Me. It's snoopon.me. There's no .com, it's .me. Snoopon.me. And those screenshots you're seeing are from real people.
Oh my goodness, that terrifies me.
It's what they're doing right now. And the idea here is that you're willingly volunteering yourself to be snooped on. Perhaps you want to be accountable about how much time you waste while you're on your screen. They call it screen blogging, and I guess you could.
That's an interesting term, screen blogging.
Screen blogging. It says spot freeloaders, beat procrastination. If you had a porn problem, you'd definitely not want to do this unless you wanted to be busted, right? I don't know. Why am I asking you? Yeah, but people could read, confidential material. Now, you notice it doesn't seem like I can zoom in. It says snapshots are scaled down to make text illegible.
That is just so randomly. Yeah. I don't even know how you found that.
Yeah, I know. Somebody sent it to me, I think.
Okay.
So you see, you can't even if you scroll in, you can't see the email addresses. You can't see anything private. You can just get a sense of what people are doing.
Screen blogging, like just as a term. I mean, because I could see all of a sudden you were doing something and you could just blog your screen and you could be like, oh my gosh, look how many programs I have open, and just right click and blog it. That would be kind of fun to throw that up on Twitter.
But there's obviously a lot of people using this because this every second or two throws up another 3 screens. So who are these people?
I don't know. There's always people to use services like this. So that's funny because I have people say to me all the time, who would use chat roulette? Who would use all these different tools? But the reality is people out there who like things like this and maybe, aren't as concerned about what others will see.
Hey, I'm the one who joined Blippy, right? That posts all my...
Oh, me too.
You're on Blippy too?
Yeah, but see, I only have it set up with my iTunes account, so I don't have... It doesn't really share that much information. I don't buy a ton on iTunes, so it's sort of sporadic.
I think we crashed Snoop on me. This slowed down a lot.
Oh, no. That's not good.
Moving on. Let's get Tony on the line here.
Oh, yeah. We have an ad, too, Leo, right?
Oh, yeah. Let me do the ad, and then we'll get Tony. And then we'll talk to him. The ad, of course, is for our friends at Citrix. They do that great product you have heard me talk about called GoToMeeting. Conference calls are so bland, so boring. They seem to be a major part these days of life in business. You got to have a conference call. You got to have a meeting. At least you don't have to travel so much. You could do it over the phone, but it's just so dull. And that people just zoned out. They're playing chat roulette or or Plants versus Zombies. They're just not listening. You could tell because it suddenly goes quiet on the other end. Well, we've all been on those kinds of calls. And the way to make them more engaging, more interesting, and have people at the end of the call say, boy, that was a great meeting. This is what you really want. Oh, we got a lot done. Boy, I'm glad. You don't want people saying, boy, that was an hour of my life I'll never get back. You want them saying, we got something done here. This was great. You want them coming out of the call charged up, ready to go. And that's what GoToMeeting does. You'll save time. You'll be more productive. You'll be more focused. Your meetings will be more interesting, and your meetees, your attendees will be more engaged. For sales presentations, product demos, for training, for collaboration, here's what you do. You go to GoToMeeting.com/night. GoToMeeting.com/NIGHT. And you could try it free for 30 days. See, I'm a big believer, more than a big believer. I really push all of our advertisers to give away trial versions so that you can try before you buy, because that's, that trusts our audience. That's saying to you, hey, use it if you try this. If you find it useful, buy it. If not, no problem. But we want to give you a shot at it. The only people we can't figure out how to do that with is Ford. We've yet to figure out how to give a free Mustang away.
If you figure out that's
I know, that'd be good.
A pretty huge hit.
That's the one we can't do. Ford and Visa,
but
we've never.
The software thing is a great idea.
Oh yeah.
To try stuff out for free, and then with something like this, people will absolutely love it after they've tried it out for a while.
Well, you'll notice every single one of our software advertisers, we do this. We really encourage them to do this, and I encourage you to take advantage of it. 30 days of unlimited meetings. Just try it. To kind of make it a goal. I'll do a meeting every few days, a meeting a week, a meeting a day. I bet if you start with a couple of meetings, you'll be doing a meeting a day pretty quickly, because you'll see how easy it is, not just for you, but for your clients. You go to GoToMeeting.com right now. GoToMeeting.com/night. Install the software. It's installed in 30 seconds. The next time you're on the conference call, say, can I show you my presentation? Can I show you the spreadsheets? Let's collaborate on a document together. And all they have to do is go to GoToMeeting.com just like you did and enter the meeting ID. And it just installs, and they're in the meeting. They're seeing your screen on their screen. And they can flip it over and show you their screen on your screen. And you can have up to 15 people in a meeting, too. So it's really great for even the big conference calls. Includes free voice-over IP conferencing and teleconferencing. And there's a great iPad app. There's a lot. Just try it.
The iPad app sounds cool.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't, but I just got an iPad 2 weeks ago, so I finally caved.
Finally. Well, we're going to do, you and me, we're going to do a GoToMeeting on the iPad. It's free. Just get the GoToMeeting app. You're going to love it.
Okay.
GoToMeeting.com/night. We could do it on the show sometime. It's really cool because the audio and the microphone in the iPad, you don't need a phone.
Okay.
If you put on a headset or you talk, it was so weird. The first time I did it, I'm hearing the meeting. So I hung up the conference call, and then they're hearing me, and it's like, wow. I'm just having a meeting on my iPad. I went out in the backyard. It was great.
So cool.
Let's get Tony.
Okay, let's get Tony on the line. I'm getting the text that they're almost ready for me.
Oh, yeah. Branson's on CNBC right now. Hold them off. Well, and if you have to go, I'll interview Tony. I got your notes on the video of the week coming up after Tony. Let's see if we can
Okay, well, if I have to go, I will let you know. I hate to leave. You know, I've been pushing it off forever. I'm like, Leo is more important to me right now.
Yeah, set us up. Who are we talking to?
Yeah, so we are going to talk to Tony Schwartz. As I mentioned, he's a well-known author. I'm pretty excited about this book that he's written called The Way We're Working Isn't Working, because I think for most people, not us maybe, Leo, because we've kind of designed our own workplace, but for most people who are going into cubicles and sitting there all day and not getting up for 9, 10, 11, 12 hours, not taking breaks, it's a pretty sad.
That's why I set up this job, and it's probably why you set up your job.
Yeah,
because I was in a cubicle.
Yeah, so
Paul Graham, who was at Food Camp and one of my favorite authors, he's the guy who does Y Combinator, he's a venture capitalist, wrote a great essay on why cubicles don't work. And I mentioned it to Paul at Food Camp this week, and I said to him, I love that essay. He said, well, you know why people do cubicles? Because they're not offices. For tax reasons, a cubicle is a capital expense they can depreciate. The walls aren't really rooms. They're just capital expenses. They're equipment. Tony Schwartz, welcome to Net at Night.
Hi, Tony.
Thank you.
So great to have you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I'm sitting here in Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas.
Are you in a hotel or is that where you live?
It sure isn't where I live. I'm getting out of here with $300 up. The first gambling I've done in a long time.
Tony, I was told when I was in Vegas once, as I was leaving in the cab, the cabbie says, he's pointing as we're going down to McCarran Field, there's all these people with their rolling suitcases walking to the airport. He said, you know who those guys are? Those are the guys who bet everything they had, including cab fare. All they got left is a ticket.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah, it's true. So, Tony, we're going to do the best we can. Sometimes hotel Wi-Fi is a little weak. I'm not going to send you video so we can hear you. Tell us what the Energy Project is. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Frozen.
Is that not kind of hilarious that I'm in my car on 3G and I've got it in Canada? And
Yeah. Isn't that typical, though? It's working in Canada via Virgin Mobile. Is Virgin Mobile, somebody said Virgin Mobile is Bell in Canada.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Oh, Tony, you know what? Tony, we're going to have to reschedule. This hotel Wi-Fi is not working. We're getting...
Oh, yeah. That's not working.
And I didn't touch it. I'll tell you what, we're going to reschedule with Tony.
Yeah, that's probably good. I got to go in a few minutes anyway to get the Branson interview, but we'll have him back on and we'll make sure that he's has better internet.
We'll get him at home.
Yeah, and this project he's been working on, the Energy Project, has been around for a while, and it's continuing throughout the summer. So we can have him on in next week or maybe the week after and still chat up about it and chat about his book as well.
You know, I love the thought of taking back your lunch.
I love that too.
Because I tell you what, I work every lunch. I very rarely don't work over lunch. And I have my own business.
I know. And so what he's done really using social networking is getting people together from all across the U.S. and getting them to commit to taking back some time and having lunch and really enjoying those moments instead of working the entire time at your desk. So a pretty good initiative and kind of a cool spin-off, I think, of his book as far as a marketing effort to get people to pick up a copy.
You say you finally got an iPad. Is the iPhone 4 available in Canada yet?
It's supposed to be out in July, and I'm kind of excited to get one, to be honest with you, Leo. I think it looks like a pretty slick phone. Do you have one yet?
I do, and it is a very slick phone. I have to say I'm pretty happy with it. I have problems, you know, that issue with the antenna when you hold it funny. It's true. I've dropped a lot of calls that way. But the thing that blows me away is for a couple of things. First of all, the quality of the photography, and I think Chris, your partner, will love it for this reason. It's a really good 5-megapixel camera in your pocket.
Yeah.
The video quality is not as good. It's good, but it's not as good. The screen is mind-blowing, and Chris, if he wants to show people his images, I mean, this is a great way to do it.
Nice little.
And it's a nice looking phone. So there are pros and cons. I still haven't decided if I'm going to use it instead of my Android phone. I love my Nexus One.
How do you find, Leo, like one thing I like, and I'm holding it right here, is just I have the new BlackBerry Pearl. And the reason I love this, and I've stuck with the BlackBerry, is just the size. I mean, for anyone who's touched a Pearl and put one in their hands, I mean, especially for women, it's just a nice, cute little size to throw in your purse. With the iPhone, is it small? Is it significantly smaller?
It is. It's thinner and narrower. than it used to be. Screen size is the same. The resolution is much higher, and it's beautiful. Nice. But it's very compact. But it's it's still taller than your curve. Your curve is maybe 2/3 or 3/4 of the size. So it's still bigger, and that may be a disincentive. You should look at the Nexus 1, which is tall but thin and light and nice. Really a beautiful phone.
I know. I really like the Android-based handsets a lot. I am a huge fan of those. So who knows? Maybe I'll have to leave the BlackBerry. But for now, it's kind of my go-to device.
Well, our video of the week is to this point. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Speaking of the iPhone, so this was sent to me by Mike Kelly. I'm sure other people have seen it online. Someone has created a short little film that was shot entirely on the iPhone 4, and you should definitely check it out. It's this really cute. I can't really call it a movie, but this video clip where you have a grandfather with his granddaughter shopping, and then they go and he's dreaming about this train toy set, and visually it looks stunning. And then after you watch the video, there's a behind the scenes element as far as showing how they actually shot it, which I thought was cool to see how they got all the cool shots inside the train set. So thanks so much to Mike for sending us this, and it's so timely with the iPhone 4. And I've checked out other things that people have shot online, and it's nice that in the iPhone you can finally shoot some decent quality video.
He's a graduate student, the guy who made it, Michael Corbell, at the USC School of Cinematic Arts. Of course, he's obviously, if he's at USC, he's a great filmmaker. And the video is available at Vimeo.com in high resolution. I'm going to play it, and while we play it, let's say goodbye and good luck with Richard Branson, Amber MacArthur.
Thank you so much, Leo. I mean, in an ideal world, had this all worked out, I was going to actually take my computer onto the plane and do this and everything, but the timing just wasn't right. But
next time.
Next time. And I'm glad this all worked out. So big thanks to Virgin Mobile, who grabbed the stick for me at the very last minute.
Isn't that nice? Yeah. And have fun. Where will that interview be? Will it be on Web Nation? Where is it going to show up?
I mean, we're going to put it on Command N.
Oh, wow.
So,
you got him for Command N?
Well, initially, yeah, and I'm going to probably put it in a couple other places as well. So we'll see. Yeah,
That's
he's very into talking to bloggers and podcasters. Maybe I can convince him to come on the show,
Have
Leo.
Him come
we'll
on
see how well
night.
the interview goes.
Tell him I'll do this. I'll play the Vuvuzela for him.
I will let him know.
If you can't be in South Africa, it's the next best thing.
It's the next best thing.
England's still in, isn't it? Oh, no, England lost too.
I don't know. I haven't been following too closely.
Catch Amber on Command N and her interview with Richard Branson at commandn.tv. She's also on CP24. She does a show called Web Nation there, and her blog is ambermac.com. You could follow her on Twitter, Amber MacArthur.
Oh, Amber Mac on Twitter.
Amber Mac. I'm sorry. At Amber
okay.
Mac
I used to be Amber MacArthur.
I
That's
know.
what you're
I get confused.
I mean, I'm still Amber MacArthur, but I used to be Amber MacArthur on Twitter. Now I'm confused. You see
the problem? Thank you, Amber. Go talk to Richard Branson. We'll see you next time.
I'll talk to you soon.
On Net at Night. And now here is the little video that could. Shot on an iPhone. Now, for those listening, there's very little dialogue. It's all coming at the end. But the video is amazing, and what's interesting is he not only shot it on an iPhone, he edited it on an iPhone, an iMovie. So there's great shots. This is a model train, and you'll see at the end of the video the rig they built, the crane they built to make these shots, some of these shots. But what you'll see immediately is that the iPhone camera is pretty good. Color a little washed out. Yet, I would say, very high quality. You see on the bright highlights, it doesn't do such a great job. And the iMovie it's pretty amazing that he was able to edit this in the iPhone as well. Grandpa's been looking at the model train set. Now his granddaughter is taking his hand. I'll narrate it.
Grandpa.
Let me tell you a story.
So, of course, it really helps that this guy knows what he's doing. He's got the shots, the angles, and everything. But that's pretty impressive.